which you've heard
Your
from
Honor,
before.
Your Honor, could I address a couple of things so I don't have to go after the victims that Mr. Waters just said?
You can, but I know you're going to have more to say once you hear the victims.
Well, not really, because the victims are going to, I've heard them before. It's the same old song. I won't have anything to say after the victims.
Okay. Sure, I'll give you an opportunity to say a couple of things, and then we've got several victims who wish to be heard, so you may not have heard some of them previously. So
I think it's the same. Your Honor, I think it's important to understand a couple of things. Mr. Waters, for instance, says this family's so influential in Hampton County. The family's not charged. The guy sitting in front of you in the jail with the mask on is the only one who's charged with anything. He's not Don Corleone. There's not some mafia family out there. If there is, then I challenge Mr. Waters to indict him. If somebody's been threatening his witnesses, they need to be indicted, not come in front of you and make these hyperbolic statements about family influence and snitch. Secondly, if in fact there's somebody out there in some way interfering with his investigation, then he needs to indict him. That's what he's got a grand jury for. So it's fascinating to me that he's concerned about the violence of Mr. Murdaugh by asking somebody to shoot him in the head. But when the guy that shot him in the head, Mr. Smith, got a $50,000 bond, Mr. Waters didn't appeal that. He didn't ask that this dangerous man who pulls up next to somebody on the side of the road and shoots him in the head have a bond increased. Matter of fact, Mr. Smith's wandering out there right now. A guy who half an hour after he's asked by somebody to shoot him in the head, shoots him in the head. He's wandering the streets right now. He's a danger. I don't understand why Mr. Waters has him wandering the streets, because he's somebody we know shot somebody else in the head. Also, in terms of opioid addiction, this gentleman's been opioid free for 6 months. He went to detox, successfully completed it, went to rehab, and was in the middle of rehab when he was arrested. So, yes, we know that there are opioid addicts who do all kinds of bad things, but he is not, he'll always be an addict, but he's been drug free for 6 months. There's no evidence whatsoever that he's had any drugs in the last 6 months. He also indicated there was a number of calls about doing a retirement account. We haven't seen them. There's one account, one call concerning that money in which he indicates if he gets access to it, the receiver's going to take it. So again, total mischaracterizations by Mr. Waters. And when he says investigation indicates, how about put him under oath and have him testify who said what? And all this